All right, everyone, good morning. This is Laurie Delk with the Nashville Networking Business Luncheons. So we are going to go ahead and get started. We do these normally 7 times a month all over Middle Tennessee. Right now, of course, because of this situation, we are doing all virtual. So every Thursday and Friday, we are right here online, Nashville Networking Business Luncheon.com. And we always have a 10-minute speaker who talks to us about different tips, tricks, ideas, things that can help us both in our personal as well as our business life. Then we go around the room. Everybody has 1 minute to give us your name, what you do for a living, and how we can better refer other people to you. We also have a chat bar where we share our virtual business cards. And then we have some open networking before and after the meeting. And then at the very end, I will show you a quick 3-minute video about a great tool you can use in your personal as well as your business life, and tell you how you can use that to take your business to that next level of success you want to get to. So if you are not on mute, please mute your line and give your attention to our speaker, Mr. Jon Cleaver. Welcome.
Hey, thank you, Laurie. I appreciate that. And thanks everybody for taking time out of your day to be here and try to grow your business and grow your network. So it's always a great thing. So what I'm going to talk about today is a little bit of a spin on what I talked about a couple of weeks ago when all this first started breaking before we went on full lockdown is really, trying to bring some information that's relevant to what we're doing and relevant to you and your business, and not only the business side of what you do, but your personal side of what you're doing as well. So in looking at, kind of taking that 50,000 foot level of where we're at with the COVID-19 coronavirus and the situation that came about, you look at our economy has been in a trajectory in a bull market for the longest that we've ever seen. Okay. So I want to talk a little about the market and unemployment and kind of what you can apply to your personal self with regards to how to minimize the impact and make sure it doesn't happen again. So you look at unemployment rate in January in the United States was at 3.6%, was extremely low. It got even lower in February at 3.5%. So that was literally a 50-year low. So you combine that, we've got the best employment rate we've had in the nation in the last half century. Then you also combine it with the stock market was also at an all-time high as well. And we were literally in the longest bull market, which we were over 26,000 in the Dow. So what happened is all of a sudden Corona came on and it just kind of threw a hand grenade on everything. Literally, we jumped up from March. Our employment, as bad as it was, jumped up almost a full percent to 4.4%. But now over the last 3 weeks, we literally, February was 288,000 people applied for unemployment. Okay. Flashback to the last 3 weeks. Okay. So the first week of April, last couple of weeks of March, we're over 17 million people. Okay, so that's a huge jump, but yet the market's kind of recovered. The government's doing what it can, but really what's going on is that's really the tip of the iceberg. Okay, so you're starting to hear things like the economy may be in a recession. I've actually seen a couple where the U.S. is in a depression now. Okay, you start looking at that, I don't know that we're quite at a depression yet, but it is going to impact not only what's going on today, but what's going to happen in the economy down the road, because you're seeing the tip of the iceberg. We're getting a little bit of a bump because everybody's okay, we're being optimistic, maybe this thing's turning. But what happens down the road if it doesn't? School has been out for a while. If you've got kids, this. We're probably not going back until the end of the year or for the rest of the school year. This is probably going to happen and last not only for our businesses, for our lives, probably through mid-May, if not Memorial Weekend. Okay, it's the reality of what's going on. So you've got to ask yourself, what does this mean for the economy? What does this mean for my business? And you can be in corporate as well, because you know what happens in corporate as they start laying people off. And you've seen that. J.C. Penney has laid off 90,000. Macy's has laid off 125,000 or furloughed them. You've got all these massive companies. A gentleman I know is in the car dealership. They pulled everybody in and they're giving them an option of go ahead and quit your job so you can file for unemployment, or let us fire you so you can file for unemployment. That's going to continue to happen. So you got to ask yourself, I keep hearing this new normal. What does that mean for me? What does that mean for my business? And, you've seen a lot of people that are just kind of taking a deer in the headlights look and just say, okay, well, I'm going to stay at home and it is what it is and accept it. First of all, you've got to make a decision that with everything going on, you've got to keep motion. A rolling stone gathers no moss kind of thing, right? So you've got to make that conscious decision. And this is what I talked about last time: is don't be a victim. Okay, decide that I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to take action and do what I can within the scope of what I can do to make things happen, to move forward. So how do we get there? How do I decide, okay, I'm not going to be a victim, now what? Okay, and this is what I wanted to talk about today. So, number one is really assess how I do my business today. And I guess not necessarily today, but pre-COVID, pre-corona, right? You look at how do I reach out to people? How do I interact with people? This networking group is a prime example, right? We always would meet at a local restaurant or something like that, and have that face-to-face interaction. It's a little odd. I would never want to network with people virtually if I could do it face-to-face, but guess what? We can't do that now. Okay, and who's to say that's not going to change for a while? So how do I do my business today? How do I interact with my clients? How do I find my clients? How do I service my clients? One of the things that we've done, fortunately, is we've been able to migrate to this webinar format fairly easy. My business has actually ticked up since this whole thing happened. I'm actually doing more business now, and it's because I'm in the financial services business. People are concerned about that, so there's a cause, a drive to action, and we've migrated very simply, easily over to Zoom because of the whole 6 foot, social distancing, which is a fancy new way of saying quarantine. But we've been able to adapt to that fairly quickly. So you've got to apply, how can I do that with my business? One of the things we've talked about, Linda, with restaurants is how do you do that? Well, I've seen Chewy's and other restaurants are out there actually having neighborhood nights. Well, I'll actually take orders for a neighborhood and then bring those orders to the neighborhood, pre-order, prepay, and then deliver them to a centralized spot where everybody, lines up 6 foot apart to gather their food. So companies are getting creative on how to do that. John's doing the webinar thing, Blaine, I'm sure you're leveraging that as well. So it's, how do I do my business today and what do I need to do to adjust? And then you've got to ask yourself as well, where are my clients today? Where are they at? My clients are locked down like everybody in their home. So I've got to understand, how do I get to them? How do I get to my clients? What can I do to bring value? So one of the things we've really done is for our group is, normally we would have one-on-one meetings with clients. Okay, occasionally we would do a live seminar or something like that. But what we've really stepped up is now we're doing virtual seminars for a couple of reasons. One, people are bored at home. Okay, they're walking the walls, and somebody sent me a video about that song the other day. What am I going to do today? Well, I'm going to run to the window, run to the wall, maybe run down. That whole thing. It's we're making fun of it, but literally people are going stir crazy at home. I know I'm one of them, right? I'm a social person. I like to be interactive, so we're trying to find ways to interact. So people, like you said, Linda, are more receptive to those phone calls. They're more receptive to meeting on webinars, just to have that interaction. And they're trying to figure it out too. It's like, oh my gosh, what is this going to mean for my business if it goes on another 2 or 3 days, or 2 or 3 weeks beyond the Easter weekend? That was the original time, right? We're going to go way past that. So you've got to look at, where are my clients today and how can I get to them? Using social media is a great opportunity, right? Whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook, or I'm not talking about paid ads, but sharing your story. What are you doing? If you're having some success, get it out there. Get out there, do a little, 30-second, 1-minute video. Don't make it a long video, right? But get out there and just share it. You're going to see people getting responses. Don't talk necessarily about your business and how you can solve it for them, but share what you're doing and be a source of I guess, a reference point for them, so you become that subject matter expert. They're going to reach out to you. You've seen that already, Linda. So, ask yourself where my clients are today. That's that number 2 piece. And then how do I get to them? And I just kind of talked about that, but that needs to be really your focus of number 3. How do I get to them? And, whether it's social media, picking up the phone, one of the things I'm doing, I collect business cards here and there. I'll make a couple calls, and if I didn't get, and I make notes on the back of the cards. I'm a little old school, but I keep them in. I never go back to them. So what I've done now is kind of pull them out. Hey, Tamana, we met a couple months ago at an event, and I never really had a chance to circle back. I'd like to find out a little bit more about what you do, and share what I do. See if there's a way for us to work together in all this. And if not, hey, at least we expanded our network, our friendship. We grew a little bit there. And if I can ever be of help in the future, let me know. So kind of figuring things like that. reaching out via social media, reaching out via direct messaging or things like that, or posting those little instruction videos and have them come to you. You know, I posted a video a couple of weeks ago, and it was hard for me. I'm not one that likes to be in front of the camera and do those kind of things. It's just kind of like, but you know what? I had people reaching out to me after just the one video, so I know it works. The other thing, and this is kind of going into number 4, is do I need to adjust my offerings or my products or something like that? You know, do I need to tweak it a little bit? You know, for, you know, what you do, Linda, it's a little difficult because you've got Moe's, right? I've got a, you know, to oversimplify it, I've got a burrito here. What can I do? What can I change about that? Well, it's not so much what you can change about that product. Now I'm even more hungry. Thank you. My mouth is literally watering thinking about Moe's. But I'm going to start spitting on the camera, so I apologize. But you look at how can I adjust how I get out to those people? You know, and that's what I think Chewy's, I thought of you, and I'm like, man, that's a great idea. I love Chewy's, and it's like people are missing that. People are missing Moe's right now. You know, going to their fridge, you can only do so much to get to a crib. We all don't have your husband cooking for us, Linda. So it's one of those, how can I do that? So coming up with creative ways to get your message out there, get your product out there, even if you can't adjust a product, how do I do it? You know, what we're doing is we're tweaking our message. You know, we're changing the way we communicate with people because our products have always been a lot more flexible than, you know, than a burrito. But how do I get out there to talk to the clients? So going in and changing that up. So again, you know, I've given you a couple of examples, but you really need to kind of sit down and assess what you're doing. You know, who am I how did I do business before? Who am I trying to reach? Where are they at? And how do I need to adjust my offering, my product, my service in order to make that happen? You know, you see a lot of restaurants, the drive-throughs are open. You see, like I said, people doing delivery. I was talking to a friend of mine today. He's, you know, he does, he takes dents out of people's houses out of their cars. So what he's doing is now he's making house calls, right? We'll actually go out and do the house calls. And normally they would have them come into the shop, but I can do this from anywhere. So he's going out and, you know, hey, Venmo me the money. I'll come out and tell me where it's at, and we'll do the repair right there in your driveway. So it's just being creative on how you can do that. So, you know, the other thing, and it's really kind of a hard choice to make, depending on what you're at, and you're going to see a lot of this over the next few weeks as people have left their jobs. But do I need to adjust my career? You know, do I need to maybe change my career and so I'm not so subject to this? I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people are going to react to this and say, you know what, this was a once in a lifetime deal and da 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 da. But I don't think it is, because there's always, you know, black swans out there. You know, 2008 was a black swan. The housing crash was a black swan. Corona was a black swan. But here's the thing, there are talk about this becoming like a seasonal thing now, just like the seasonal flu becoming the Corona season. And so it's one of those things that, am I in the right career to ride those storms out, or have I prepared personally to be okay with not working for 2 or 3 months? You know, so that's kind of, do I need to adjust my career? Or if you're in a business that's doing, you know, I've had a couple conversations with bookkeepers and tax preparers over the last few weeks. They tie into what we do quite nicely, meaning they're talking to the exact same people we do. They're talking about money and finances and things like that, just like we do, but they don't do our product and we don't do their product. What a perfect marriage that is. So now they can, and we do it, we have an affiliate program. That may be something you create, something like that for your business as well, where there's a revenue share type of activity going on. And so that way, both of you, it's a mutually beneficial relationship. And now you've expanded your net that you're able to do. So again, it's a way to add that to your business. So again, you know, think about maybe adjusting your product or your delivery method or something like that. And lastly, maybe adjusting your career a little bit. Or even in your situation, Tamana, where, you know, I was in corporate, I'd been laid off 3 times during my corporate career. It happens, right? Especially in times like this, a lot of companies are going through layoffs. So what do I do to create that parachute? You know, there's all kinds of quote unquote side hustles out there, some good, some bad, some are awesome, some not so awesome. So, you know, creating something where I have a second stream of revenue coming in just in case. The average millionaire out there has 7 streams of income. Okay. They don't have a job. They don't have one thing that they depend on. I mean, you know, in the financial world that I'm in, we always talk about diversify your portfolio. Why in the hell wouldn't I want to diversify my income streams? You know, think about that. It starts making sense. So lastly, what can I learn from this to minimize future impacts? You know, a lot of people are going to come out of this and say, okay, wow, I'm glad that's over. Let's get back to normal. And just put, you know, their blinders on and pretend it didn't really happen and didn't learn from the experience. And that's something that, you know, whether it's you personally, whether it's your business or your job, how do I learn from that experience? What risk, you know, do a risk assessment. What risk did I happen? What negatively impacted me? And where did I dodge a bullet? Because you may have missed that negative impact, that major negative impact this time, but you may not get so lucky next time. So lastly, that's the piece. What did I learn from that? So just kind of recap, you know, what did I do, or how did I do business beforehand? What did I learn from this experience? You know, where are my clients at today? How do I get to those clients? What do I need to adjust to make that connection? Okay. And then what can I learn from this to avoid it even happening to me in the future, to minimize the impact or eliminate it altogether? Okay. So above all, the key is, you know, with all this going on, take action. There's a lot of people that are normally at these groups that aren't on them. Okay. So they've kind of taken that, I'm just going to roll over, ride out the storm, hunker down, ride out the storm. But what happens is they're missing out on an opportunity to grow, to learn, to get those certifications that I've been meaning to do this, to work on their business while things are slow right now. You know, I went through downtown right as all this was happening, all those businesses have been shut down. I saw these business owners out there power washing the sidewalks and everything. They had the opportunity now. I thought, wow, that's so proactive. And that's what you've got to do too, not only with your business, but your career and your personal life, is decide to take action and look at those obstacles that are in front of you right now, not as obstacles to stop you, but challenges, and make a decision that, you know, I'm not going to fall into the I can't. It's going to be the I will. I just need to figure it out. So hopefully that helped you out a little bit. You know, that's really my kind of positive message for the day. And, you know, it's something that it's just a storm, folks. Don't overreact. Don't buy into all the hype. And people like to be, you know, negative, you know, and it's always the one up, you know. Well, I saw somebody, you know, that got corona. Well, I saw somebody who's literally their car exploded because they had corona. Well, no, it's just, you know, people want to one up one another. And so what happens is it feeds that negativity. Brush it off. This is real. Don't get me wrong. Social distancing, 6 to 10 feet. You know, don't do the old the corona challenge, right, where you're licking toilet seats. That was a bad idea. I don't know who thought of that. Don't do that, but don't overreact either. But take the opportunity, improve yourself, improve your business, and learn from this. Come out stronger on the other side. My name's Jon Cleaver. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So everybody that is watching live online, thanks so much for joining us. It's Nashville Networking Business Luncheon.com. If you're in the local area, we will be meeting back in person 7 times a month all over Middle Tennessee. Right now, we are online every single week, virtually for every Thursday and Friday. We always have a 10-minute speaker who talks to us about different tips, tricks, ideas, things that can help us both in our personal and business life. Thanks so much, Jon, for speaking with us today. Have a great day, everyone.